change that for us. The 0.5 is a floating point number. That multiplication changed the whole thing. Okay, good times. So that was that. We'll do one more quick and easy gets here. I'll make this a new file just so we can say it. ex11.rb. Let's say we have a number equal to 1.23 and a greeting equal to hello. All right. So we say puts and string is our greeting, right? And then a number. And number is number. If I can spell that. Number. Alright, good times. So now we can say, we can also do our printf, right? We'll printf that in one more way. So string, %s, number, and number. And we'll do this because we want to adjust things. It'll be 5. Maximum length is 5. Maximum floating point afterward, decimal place after the number of positions after the decimal place is 2. F for floating point /n. Greeting number. All right, that should be good. So then we want to get a line of string input. So we say line equals gets. We print the line, right? And then we say we can also say while line equals gets. And then this is the one thing that we haven't really looked at. We can actually check. Let's say we want to check if line is matches some regular expression. So the equals tilde operator is for matching, and then of course anything between forward slashes is a regular expression pattern. So then we say print line, right? So if we match, so the matching operator returns true if the value, the pattern can be found in the string that we gave it. And then we say end and end. So we'll run this. So running this, let's take a look. This would be 11. Alright, so we printed out the number as expected 2 different times, just to see that we could do that. And now it's asking me for a line of text, right? So hello world, this is Ruby, right? Printed that out. Okay, so we saw how gets works in case we hadn't seen it already 3 or 4 times before in this example. And now we're also doing it again, right? This is the while loop, while line equals gets. And then we're checking whether or not we find Ruby, right? So we say Python, Perl, and Ruby are scripting languages. Okay, yeah. All right. And then lo and behold, it found Ruby right in the middle there, and then it printed it back out. But if I say Java, C, C#, and C++ are compiled / semi-compiled languages, prints nothing. So, and then I had to kill it because it was an infinite loop. But anyway, we got us to the place that we need to be for the time being. So now we move on. One last thing before we hit we have 2 more examples that we want to walk through. One is on ranges, and another is on regular expressions. So we'll run the regular expression. We'll do the ranges first. So we'll call this ex12.rb. And so ranges are really cool, right? They give us the capability to succinctly develop a range of values. So first off, we'll run this in the IRB, right? And I'll bring that up. And so, first off, we want to look at what is, so a range like 1.10, right? That's a range, so we want to know what is the class of this range. So probably need to put that thing in parentheses so we can actually call that .class. So it's range. Okay, what are the methods available to us? And there's a whole bunch of different ones. We can, turn it into a hash. We can do all different things, right? So interestingly enough, we can do a lot of cool things with the range. With a range, we can also convert it to an array. So we say 1.10 and .2 A, right? The to_A method converts it to an array of all the values from that range. If we were to do the triple dot, which is exclusive, right? We see that and it brings it to 9. Does not include 10. Furthermore, we can also do a few more things, like, for example, we can use variables in our range. So let's create an array. My array equals 1, 2, 3, right? So it's that array. We can say then 0, let's say p0 to my array.length gives us 0 to 3, right? Creates that range. Okay, we can also use strings for our range, right? So we say bar bat to array, right? And it gives us bar baz bat, right? So it shifted that string until from the initial string to the final string, and it actually uses the minimum number of changes required to get there, which in this case was 3. So we can also, let's say we want to create a digit, so digits equals 0.9. We can ask questions like digits dot include, right? And then 5, right? Let's do that. Does digits dot include 5? We said 0 to 9. It returns true. Okay. We can ask for the max. What is the maximum value? It's 9. The minimum value? All right, 0. And then we can we'll shift into back to the code, and we'll say let's create digits again. 0.9, and then we say digits dot reject. Let's say I where I is less than 5. So if we print this, right, it takes in, so dot reject takes in a block, right, and then it's going to use that block to restrict what we what's going on. So every single item in the range of digits will then be processed, and so what we'll do is we'll end up executing for based on that condition. So we're going to print that. So this is this 12? Oh yeah, it's 12. So run that, and we restricted anything less than 5, right? So we rejected all things not that did not meet that condition, and so we only printed out 5. We printed out the array 5 through 9. So convert that to an array for us, and printed out only the things that mattered. So we can also run an each on there, just like we did for digits. Oh, what's going on there? So then we can say print, or actually we can say digits.each digit, and we'll print the digit, right? Just simple concepts of what we're trying to do here. And then print out 0 through 9, as expected. Now, we can also use these things. Ranges can be used as intervals, right? So if we say p1.10, is this equivalent to 5? And we also let's run one more for that. And then we'll do those. So let's say so 3.14159. So the triple equals is for value and type checking, right? And so we do this, and we should see that yes, 5 is in the range 1 through 10. 15 is not, but 3.14159 pi is. So we run that, and we get true, false, and true. All right. Similarly, we can use this on the string classes, and we'll do this for the same thing, but for z, and we should get true, false. I'll run it. Oh, sorry, I did not say that. Verify what's going on here. Wait, one. Oh, I didn't print those. That's why. Okay. Hello. Trying to figure out what I'm doing here. All right, there we go. And then we can see true and false. All right. So that's pretty much the gist of what's going on. Finally, I'll do a little bit of very basic stuff that has to do with regular expressions. It's the last thing. And then I'll let you guys go back to living your lives. So this is an hour and a half long experience. ex13.rb. So very basic regular expression stuff. Basic regex. Right? Regular expressions are just a way of doing pattern matching in strings, but these patterns can be very verbose, but also very powerful. And so regular expression by itself is its own type of language. It's deeply connected to regular grammars. I'll talk about more of that when you see the lecture on actual regular expressions, right? I'm not going to get too deep into how these things work or what they are. Just know that you can use them to conduct very powerful searches, as well as substitutions within languages. So, for example, let's say we print enter something mentioning a programming language, right? Okay. So we say line equals gets. All right. Now we say if line. And so again, like I said, you have the matching operator here, and we want to say we're looking for Perl or Python. So the vertical bar says so the first part of this where it says Perl with a capital P will match exactly these characters, right? Now, what I could do is I could put a little I at the end of this pattern here, and that will be case insensitive, so it'll match either capital P or little p Perl, and then, so it's either it matches this one, or it matches this. So it will scan the entire string, looking to see if it finds either of these anywhere in the string, right? We have no boundaries on this at all. It could be at the beginning, it could be inside of a word, so it could look for Perls, or Pythons, or X Python X, whatever you want, whatever, it'll find it though. And so now we're searching for that, and then if we do find it, we say puts scripting language mentioned, right, and then pound, and then the line. We can say in there. All right, and then we end. So if we run this, wrong one. This is 13. So it asks us to enter the programming language. So we'll go ahead and move that up and go Control L. Oh, hello. Control L. No, that's not go. But anyway, so we say, let's say we say Perl. Actually, we'll make it a little more difficult, challenging. Is this Perl? And we press enter. Tells us scripting language mentioned in is this Perl. So it found Perl. We'll run it one more time. We'll say is this Ruby? Finds nothing, so it doesn't print it. And we do it one more time. We say Python, and it finds it again, right? So works pretty well, does its job. So then we say, now let's do a little bit extra work, right? So in the for example, we can use this to our advantage by wanting to say we can print line.sub. Now sub says substitute, and then given a regular expression, it'll try to find that. Wherever it finds the first instance of that, it will replace it with the following string. So here we want Ruby, right? So if we do this, we should say, let's say we'll run that and we'll say Perl is the best. And in reality, what we meant was Ruby, but unfortunately we already typed it, and I don't want to type it again. So we say that, and then it returns, and then we modified it, say Ruby is the best. Now, if we were to print line again, we'll do the same thing one more time. We'll see that it did not actually change the original line. So if we run this, we say Perl is the best, and then we did the substitution, but then we take a look at it, we print it again, it still did not substitute. In order to do the substitution the way we want it, we need to actually use the exclamation point. version, which says we're going to change the actual line itself. So we run this one more time. Perl is the best. Run that, and then it changes it this time for good. So now, let's say we want to do the same thing, but instead, if we maybe we have multiple. If we have multiple instances of, for example, in this case, Python, and we want to replace them with Ruby, but we won't replace every single one. We have to use gsub, which stands for global substitution. So it will go across the entire string and substitute Ruby for every instance of Python that it finds. So if we run this again, and yet again, if we we'll print the line out. So if we run this, we say Python, Python, Python. Here we see it found and replaced Python, Python, Python with Ruby, 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 but it did not actually make the change because we did not use the exclamation point version. So we run that one more time, just to be sure. And lo and behold, this time it didn't find it, right? Because and the first one found it, right? So it says scripting language is mentioned, but we did not use the /i, so it was exactly matching. It did not use case insensitive. So one way we could fix that is we could say, well, we could use grouping, and we could say capital P or little p for Python, and that might fix that would at least fix the first one, the second one. So if we did that, we say we made a mistake when we typed the first time. Python, we did that. Well, it found the first one and fixed it with Ruby. It did not do the case insensitive, which is what we really want. So we can do that one more time. And Python, Python, and it found both, fixed them, and was global and did the substitution correctly. So that's the gist of regex. The next lecture on Ruby immediately following this is a full treatment of regular expressions, understanding all the different ways that we can use them, what we can use them for. So all these examples will be listed inside of on the GitHub, and in a new Git folder, a new Git repository called Ruby. See CSCI 305-Ruby-examples under the directory Ruby 1. All the examples for Ruby 2, Ruby 3 lectures, and the regex lecture will also be in there as well as I build them. So things will change. Be aware. No need to fork that repository. You can clone directly from it. Don't push. Anyway, have a good time, and I will talk to you in class, or you can hear my voice on the next lecture. I'm sure you all are excited for that. Thanks a lot.